So welcome back, everyone. My next guest is Joe Capitano, and he is the Senior Vice President of Homeowners Financial Group. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Carol. I really appreciate you inviting me to your show. I've followed you for years, and it's a great show, and it's a privilege to be here.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Now, let's talk a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you do differently.
Okay. Well, I think it's very important that you understand the structure of the process. Now, when you're thinking about getting a mortgage, there's three general sources that you can go to. You can go to your local bank, Bank of America, Wells, a simple situation like that. Walk in, and they'll introduce you to their loan officer. The difference with them, they aren't licensed, and they might have been a teller last week. So the service may be a little different than working with someone else. The second source you might go to is a mortgage broker. You may have heard that term before. Now, what a broker is, they're essentially a middleman, because they will have an agreement with a number of investors, and they'll go out, they'll gather borrowers, they'll do an application, they'll gather information, put it together, and then they'll ship it to that investor, who will then process the loan, they'll underwrite the loan, they'll sell it, and they'll fund it for them. The issue there is, once it leaves the broker's office, they lose control. So that is something that you have to be very much aware of. Now, I'm a mortgage banker. I'm the hybrid. I have the bank's products, I have the broker's products, and I have our own products. What makes me a little bit different is that we have our own underwriters. We have our own processes, our own closers, funders, the bank. We send the money to the title company to close your transaction. The only time your transaction leaves our office is when you sign those documents. So I have total control. If I have an issue, I can go to Scottsdale and I can say, underwriter, what's the problem here? And we can work things out. If I feel strongly about a loan, it's going to close.
Now, you also are giving, for anyone who calls in, we're going to enter them in to win. You've got Diamondback tickets with parking passes. So we got 4 sets that we're giving away here. So what we want to do is open the lines up for you to be able to call in. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Your website is joeloans.com.
joeloans.com. You can go there. The easiest thing to do is do an application online for me, because once I have that information, I can do a pre-qualification in a matter of an hour if I have the information immediately. So as soon as you start the application, I get a notification. When it's done, I get a notification. I contact you. I maybe ask a question or two along the way just to clarify a few things. And then I can provide generally a pre-qualification letter at that time, if I'm comfortable enough about our situation. Or oftentimes there might be a glitch. Maybe there's an issue on the credit. Maybe there's something I see you didn't even know about. Well, we need to know that right away, because it can make such a big difference in how your transaction is going to process.
Okay, now the phone number to call him direct, it's 480-305-8545, and it's Joe Loans, that's with an S.com, or call in here at 602-277-5369, and we're giving away 4 sets of Diamondback tickets with parking passes. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to ask you as you were talking, because this is a little off of this, but there are a lot of people out there that went through some troubles, in the last few years, and now things are changing.
Yes.
They're a changing, right?
Yes, they're a changing.
Right, and they might not know whether or not they can, or maybe they can go through youth. Can they find out where they stand right now? Can you possibly get them into a loan?
Yes.
More than maybe somebody else can because of your capabilities?
Well, essentially there are some time limits involved whenever you had a foreclosure or a short sale. Conventional loans are different, FHA is different, VA is different, but I also have a product that very few lenders have. We call it a clean slate program. What that is you can get a loan the day after you've had a foreclosure or a short sale. 6 months after you've had a bankruptcy, I can get you financed on a new home. Very few people have that. There are some criteria for it. Your credit has to be reasonable, nothing great. The down payment is a little bit higher. The interest rate's a little bit higher, but I've had instances where people have gotten in right away. They couldn't help the situation, but they had healed enough immediately that they could get into a home. And within a couple of years, they're finding that the home has appreciated so much that had they waited, their payment would have been so much higher. So that's one little thing that I can do that many can't.
Do you do consultations with people?
I love doing consultations with people. There's no charge. We do like the insurance checkup, only it's a mortgage checkup. Because people don't even know what they have in some cases, and they don't know where to go or what they can do. So it's my job is to put them into the situation that's best for them. Because as a mortgage banker under today's laws and statutes, I make the same amount of money on every transaction percentage-wise, whether it's a 15-year or a 30-year ARM, doesn't make any difference. So I have no motivation to put them into something that's not to their benefit. My job is to put them in the best product. Because most of my loans now are from referrals, or people from I just, it came back to me because I treated them right the first time.
Also, you're a one-stop shop,
Indeed.
right? And you can do what other people can't.
I have all the products everyone else has and more. And so, again, my processors have been in business for, 20 years. Our staff has been around forever. So we're very particular about who we bring into the market to help our borrowers, because we don't want somebody to fall through the cracks. We want to help people. Our job is to get them the American dream. That's what we do.
Now, his phone number direct, it's 480-305-8545. His website is joeloans, that's with an S, .com, and he is giving away, we've got 4 sets of Diamondback tickets, that's with parking passes. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Of your special programs that you talked about, would it be the number one being that it would be the sort of what was the new start over program, or is there others as well?
Well, I'm looking at your demographics for your show. You've got very sophisticated listeners here. Many of them don't have problems. So I would love to work with them first and foremost, because they're in a situation, maybe they've heard ads on the radio. They've got these special rates, special programs, special this, special that. In most cases, it's just to come on, to get you to ring, get you to call in, so you say, oh, that was the rate yesterday. But while we're on the phone, why don't we get this application started? Because in reality, if you check company to company to company, there might be an 1/8% difference between everybody. So what kind, do you want the person who's been in the market for, 6 months? Do you want somebody with 23 years experience? That's what you have to decide, because the only thing constant in business is change. And I constantly study. If you look at my office, I've got a 54-inch TV on my wall. The market's on all day long. I just follow it. Listen, this morning, stock market was down 220 points. We got a little improvement in interest rates. By the end of the day, it was up almost 100. We lost all the gains within a matter of hours. I was able to lock in a couple of clients and save them, in one case, $2,000 in fees, because I watched and I listened, and I have services that remind me, hey, there's a problem in the market. We got to change it. We got to do this. And that's what I do. I make sure people get the right deal.
I love that, because it changes, obviously, minute by minute, day by day.
It's crazy.
So it is crazy right now. And we have our lines open here, and everyone who's calling in is going to get entered in to win the 4. We've got 4 sets of Diamondback tickets that he's giving away with the parking passes. Again, you can call here at 602-277-5369. You can check him out on his website. It is joeloans.com, and his phone number direct, it's 480-305-8545. So how do you feel the market is going right now? I mean, it's crazy. We have less than a minute. I want to talk a little bit about that and come back further after the break. Go ahead.
I think the market is great. I mean, we've seen rates that are as low as they've been in a long time. I think they're going to go lower. I think our economy is stalling. No matter what they tell you on the radio, I think it's stalling. I think we're going to see better interest rates as the year progresses. We might see we're going to see ups and downs. We have to. It keeps the money flowing in and out. But I think we're in for the great end of the year. I think towards the end of the year, we're going to see refinances again coming back. We should see some really, really exciting times. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Here's the thing also about the listeners. You're right about them, but they also know people. That's what networking is all about. I wanted to say that too, because maybe they have a son or a daughter that's in a home that got in trouble. There's a lot of people did. And so it's about telling everyone about it. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. His website is joeloans.com. homeownersfinancial.com or 480-305-8545 or call here for the Diamondback tickets. Welcome back, everyone. We are talking with Joe Capitano, and he is the Senior Vice President of Homeowners Financial. We've been talking a little bit about at the break about something that you have that nobody else has, and also we want to tell everybody that they're being entered in to win. We've got 4 sets of Diamondback tickets that he's giving away with parking passes. So call us here at 602-277-5369 for that. You can check him out on his website, which is joeloans.com. What you got that other people don't know about?
Well, you know, I hate to just sit around and just sell everybody else, everybody else has. You know, I have something new. I want something exciting. And I'm a kind of an unusual in the investment. I'm a mortgage banker. I hate mortgages. I hate them. I wish no one had them. Just think what life would be like if you didn't have a mortgage. But unfortunately, it's a fact of life. Most people have them. I'm trying to find a way people to get rid of those mortgages as fast as they possibly can. So I've got a program that is different than any other in that every mortgage's beginning of time has the same format. I don't care if it's a 30-year, a 15, a 10, an ARM. The first thing you do when you make your payment is you pay interest. You pay a little bit of principal. All loans are front-loaded with interest because they want you to pay it all up front. If you're not going to be there for 30 years, they want their money now, then they'll give you a little bit in the future, in the pay. So what I do, well, not what I do, I have a mortgage program that pays interest first and then principal. So you understand the concept. If you're paying a bunch of interest, a little bit of and then a little bit of principal, it's going to pay off a lot faster. Now, essentially the way it works, it is a line of credit. It's a first mortgage line of credit. People understand you go to your bank, you get a second on your house for the the new boat, whatever, and they don't care if you ever pay it off. This is a first mortgage line of credit up to 80% of the appraised value, and it takes out your first mortgage. That's the only mortgage you have on your house now, is that line of credit. It's interest only. And the way it pays off is actually this becomes your bank. You now deposit all of your income directly into your mortgage. So the amount of money you put in immediately pays down your mortgage. So you have a $100,000 mortgage, you pay in $10,000, your mortgage is now $90,000. So as you can see, it can pay off dramatically. What makes it unique is, making it your bank, is that you have full access to that money. You're issued a checking account, you have an ATM card, you have a debit card, and you have online bill pay. So everything is tied into your mortgage. So whatever you don't spend that month automatically brings down your mortgage. When you put your money in the bank now, it just sits there. And the bank loves it because they get to use your money to loan out. But you don't get anybody at 1 cent or 2 cents for interest, but it just sits there and does nothing. This pays down your mortgage, so you only pay interest on what you owe. So you owe less, you pay less, and every month it accumulates. It's such a dramatic force. I've had people pay off their houses in 2 or 3 years with $300,000 and $400,000 mortgages. And then they have full access to that money. They just write a check. You want to go buy a car? You have the equity, go write a check. You pay it off with your income. It's just, to me, it's the most dramatic loan. It's actually been around for years and years in Europe and Australia because they don't have interest deduction. And we've been fooled over the years that interest deduction is a very important thing to have. Well, it isn't. You're better off with no mortgage and putting that money into another investment or enjoying it or just doing whatever you want with it rather than giving it to the bank and letting them use it and them giving you essentially nothing for it.
Okay, so a couple questions on that. And by the way, I want to get it out too that he does do free consultations with everyone that you're listening to this going, wow, that sounds great. But it's intricate.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot to it. It sounds simple, but it's not. There's some things about it that you're like, wow, that sounds good, and then, oh, that's weird. But so there's a lot that you could talk about with that.
Definitely.
Now, you can call him direct. His phone number is 480-305-8545. Check him out at joeloans.com, and we have our lines open here for you to call in. He's giving away 4 sets of Diamondback tickets with the parking passes, and that's 602-277-5369. Of this loan that you're referring to right now, who fits that best?
Anyone who has money left over at the end of the month. High earners are best because they have a lot of money left over and they pay off their loan quickly. I had a gentleman who he was making about $60,000 or $70,000 a year, he had a $225,000 loan. He paid it off in 5 years because he followed the program. He was conservative, but he didn't live on beans and rice. He had a normal life. He spent his money normally, but he always had money left over at the end of the month. And that automatically paid down his mortgage. And again, you only pay interest on what you owe. So if you pay it off half, you're only paying on half. And it's an interest-only loan. Today, the rate is around just under 4%. And it can fluctuate, it is an adjustable rate, but you're paying it down so fast. Should the rate go up, it's not going to affect you because you owe so much less if you follow the program.
Are there any requirements to that specific loan?
It's an 80% loan to value, so you need 20% equity, whether you're
Okay.
purchasing or if you're refinancing. And you must have a 700 credit score. That's, in today's market, I don't think that's unreasonable. But again, the high earners are amazed at how fast they pay off their homes, and it's their bank. Now, it's their money. The bank's not telling them how to spend their money. They use it any way they want. They write a check, get the debit card, you pay on bills online, whatever you want to do. You have full access to the money 24 hours a day, and it's yours.
Now, again, his phone number direct, it's 480-305-8545. It's joeloans.com. So what strategies might one consider in today's market?
Well, I tell people that have good stock portfolios, let's say. They've made such gains over the years. They're at a point now where it's all paper. They've made all this money, and they have all this realized gain. Well, it's not realized until it's utilized. I tell people, take a little bit off the table. Certainly don't just take your portfolio and sell it. No, don't liquidate it. Take a little bit and maybe pay down your mortgage somewhat. Let's see what your payment would be, not changing the payment. What would a 15-year loan look like? What's the loan amount? And you're not going to change your payment, but you're going to pay that loan off in no time. You may want to put that loan into a 15-year FHA loan. I think, why did I do that? Well, a 15-year FHA loan is assumable to anyone who wants to qualify. So you have a loan now, 5 years from now, there's only 10 years left on that mortgage. Right now, the rates are around 3.5%. 5 years from now, you want to sell your house, someone can buy it, keep your 3.5%, you only have 10 years left to pay. They might pay you a little more than the house down the street to assume that mortgage.
It's interesting because there's so many little ways that you can get around things.
I love working with veterans. Veterans have no money down up to $417,000, but they get a loan up to $1 million with a very minimal down. It's much lower than any conventional loan, and the rates are the best. It's just, to me, the veteran who is successful has got to look at that program. They don't even think about it. They go to the bank, they get their conventional loan, and they pay the high interest, and they never pay it down. But the VA loan, I think, is exceptional for the high earner.
Now, you do free consultations with everyone. So again, write the number down. It's 480-305-8545. And again, that website is joeloans.com. And he's giving away, he's got 4 sets of these Diamondback tickets with the parking passes. So you can call us at 602-277-5369. What about credit?
Credit has become such a factor anymore because rates, when somebody asks you, what interest rate do you have today? Well, I have to know what your credit score is because it all varies with your credit score. The better score you have, the better rates you're going to get. That's why I ask people to go online, let's find out what your credit is. Because maybe there was a little collection you didn't realize. You missed a payment last month. Well, that can devastate you as far as your interest rate, as far as any program you may be getting. You might need a bigger down payment because your credit wasn't analyzed properly, because I can fix a lot of things because I know how to do it.
I was just going to ask that because there's a lot of people that, like I said before, they've gone through some rocky times and now things have changed for them. You'll obviously do it like some sort of financial review to look at that and see what they can do. Go ahead.
Very definitely, I will. And if there is a problem, I can tell them how to fix it. Little ways, little tweaks you can do to raise your credit score that you don't have to do anything, maybe a phone call. The reason I'm saying that is, if your credit card, if you have a high balance on your credit card, that'll hurt your credit score. But if you've had good credit, that credit card may raise your limit, which would then raise your credit score. That's one little thing. Of course, don't go spend on it, don't go crazy with it, but it might raise your score 20, 30 points just by making a phone call. Little things like that can make a big difference.
Well, you know, you sound like you've been doing, how long have you been doing this?
Next month, 23 years.
23 years. And let's tell them again, for anyone that missed, some of the things about your company that's a little different. Go ahead.
Mortgage banker. We qualify everyone. We do everything in-house. Nothing leaves the office until that loan is done.
And he does free consultations with everyone. I'm gonna let you call the rest of the show to get entered into the Diamondback tickets for with the parking passes. You know, and it really is all about finding out where you stand, and that's what he can help you with.
It's a free call.
It's a free call. It's 480-305-8545. It's joeloans.com.